Elliot, I'm just like an everyday regular person. I'm just, I'm a mom. I invest. I juggle a lot of different things. This
Right.
idea of buying a business is awesome, but it's also pretty darn scary and frightening. I mean, there are so many different components involved, right? To make sure it's
Right.
the right one, from finding it to the initial review to funding and financing it to a very daunting and extensive diligence process. How do I, as just a regular everyday person, become comfortable going down this type of road that I've not necessarily done before?
Absolutely. That's a great question. I'm glad you asked it. So, how does an everyday person get comfortable? I think what you do is you study this game just like you study any other games. So there are resources to actually get you comfortable. There's a book called Buyout by Rick Rickerston that's amazing. Walker Dybel has a book, Buy Then Build, that's pretty good. And you want to sort of immerse yourself in people who have successfully done it. There's a lot of everyday people I call Main Street folks that have executed amazing transactions that, 2 years ago, were a mom juggling a bunch of things, considering other investments just like you. Here's the other thing. So a lot of people manage their advisor relationships based on trust, and I totally get that. But in the game of buying businesses, you really want advisors who are experienced in this particular complicated thing, because you want a transaction attorney that's actually done business transactions. You're going to want an accounting group person that's done transactions. And not only is it important because they're familiar with the concepts and sort of what's going on, but here's where it really comes to bear. If you get advisors who are not comfortable with the acquisition process, they're going to perceive $1 worth of risk as it being $5 worth of risk. But what does that mean for you as the buyer? What that means is you're going to spend 5 times the amount of money on your lawyer because they're getting comfortable with things. They're uncomfortable with this. When a seasoned sort of transaction advisor will say, "Oh, that's an issue, but that's $5 worth of risk. That's not spend $250 an hour on me to solve it. That's just an okay thing. Move on." So I think you do your studying. I think you find advisors that'll help. Guardian Due Diligence, my business, was specifically made to help sort of bridge the gap between a person who may not be experienced in this particular process and helping them execute an amazing transaction, helping them do this process. So finding good lawyers, finding good accountants. And sometimes as an investor, you just have to make a bet, right? So there's this amazing thing that you think can double. And there's a bunch of information you've looked at, but at the end of the day, you kind of have that clinching feeling of like,
God.
am I going to put $100,000 of my money in this thing? Am I really going to do it? And I think sometimes the services that we provide at Guardian just help people get comfortable with that risky decision and helping them say, hey, well, the last 5 people who I've seen in this similar situation did this, and this is how it worked. And the other 5 people who didn't work out all that well did these things and went like this. And so given this data set of like 10 years of being in this business, I can help people make these decisions easier. But you should absolutely feel comfortable. This is not something that's out of reach. And in fact, to put it even more close to home, the market is moving towards the everyday person buying businesses. You can read about it, but also just think about all the baby boomers, the 60-year-olds, the 70-year-olds that came back from World War II and started businesses. Those folks are holding on to companies that are their retirement. That's how they get to Florida. That's how they get to the Bahamas. They only get there if they sell their business. Well, how does a Main Street guy or gal sell their business? They sell it to another Main Street guy or gal.